Now, there remains one last point of importance that I need to share with you before we go forward and analyze some of the deceptions contained within Jay-Z's new Run This Town music video. But first, take a look at this MTV interview of Jay-Z speaking about the symbolism of the three stripes on his new Blueprint 3 album cover.
Feel about music at the end of the day, and the three stripes that everyone's asking about is made from the original three. The first three that they made on the wall was, someone with their hand like carving out that was the first three. And if you look at the three, how it is now, all they did was connect the lines to them, and that was like the origins of the original three.
Did you listen closely to what Jay-Z said? His explanation for the three lines located on the front of his album, The Blueprint 3, is that he got the idea from the origin of the original three that was written with three parallel lines on a wall. So where did these three lines that symbolize the original three come from? The origin, my friend, of these three lines representing the number 3 originated in ancient Egypt. And in ancient Egypt, these three lines did not just simply represent the number 3. These three lines represented the pagan trinity of Ptah, Ra, and Amen. By the 11th dynasty of Egypt, the triad or trinity of Ptah, Ra, and Amen became known as Osiris, Isis, and Horus. Osiris or Ptah was known as the god of the underworld. Isis was the wife and sister of Osiris, and Horus was their son. Now, you may be wondering, did Jay-Z know all of this, or was this just a coincidence? Well, first of all, I will refer you back to Jay-Z's own words.
The three stripes that everyone's asking about is made from the original three. The first three that they made on the wall was, someone with their hand like carving out that was the first three. And if you look at the three, how it is now, all they did was connect the lines to them, and that was like the origins of the original three.
Clearly, Jay-Z knew where he got the idea of using three lines to represent the original three from. So now, the next question you should ask is, well, what would inspire Jay-Z to draw from ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs to get a design for his album cover? Perhaps Freemason Thomas D. Worrell can help us answer this question. In the Freemason Thomas D. Worrell's essay on ancient friend and brother, the great Pythagoras, he writes, "In our Masonic adventure, we encounter this great historical figure or his work more than once. The first meeting occurs in the third degree, in the company of the hieroglyphical emblems." I hope you were paying attention to this man's words, because if you were, you would realize that it is when the Freemason reaches the third degree that he begins to study hieroglyphs, which are stylized pictures or objects that represent words, sounds, or writing systems. Now, do you remember what I shared with you at the beginning of this video? I told you how all of the albums that Jay-Z has released entitled Blueprint were just markers indicating what degree he obtained in Freemasonry. The Blueprint marked the time when he received the first degree as an apprentice. The Blueprint 2 marked the point in time when he received the second degree in Freemasonry as a fellow craft. And now this new album, Blueprint 3, is the celebration or marker indicating Jay-Z's arrival at the third degree of Freemasonry as a master mason. The degree at which Freemasons learn about the symbolic occult meanings of hieroglyphs, like the one he is using on the cover of his new album. Jay-Z has placed this symbol of the pagan trinity of Ptah, Ra, and Amen, which has now been assimilated into the pagan trinity of Osiris, Isis, and Horus for the purpose of flaunting his new esoteric and hidden knowledge, because he knows that the average person has no idea of the Luciferian nature of these symbols, and that most people are too lazy and dumbed down by television and his very own music to even take the time to go and find out. In ancient Egypt, they had a common saying in reference to this trinity that Jay-Z is symbolizing on his album cover using the three stripes. The saying is, "Three are all the gods, Amen, Ra, and Ta, who have no equal. His name is hidden as Amen. He is Re, or Ra, in regard to his face. His body is Ta. Their cities on earth are established for eternity." Please remember what I am about to share with you, because it will assist you greatly in seeing the deception in Jay-Z's Run This Town video when we begin to analyze it. Number one, remember that his name is hidden as Amen. This means that his name is so sacred that it should not be spoken and that it must be covered up. And number two, their cities on earth are established for eternity. As I told you earlier, Ta, Ra, and Amen became assimilated into Osiris, Isis, and Horus, two male pagan deities and one female pagan deity. So it is Osiris, Isis, and Horus, whose cities on earth that will be established for eternity. Now, in rap music, metaphors and slang words are freely used to present ideas and to subliminally convey information. Any young child familiar with this genre of music can attest to what I said as a fact. So when you listen to rap music, you must be familiar with the metaphorical style of poetry, and most importantly with the slang terminologies or ebonics, so that you are able to comprehend the message that the artist is trying to convey. In slang terms, the word town can mean city. For instance, A-Town is a reference to the city of Atlanta, Georgia. I mention this because the title of Jay-Z's new video is "We Run This Town." But in reality, what this means is we run this city. We is a reference to Osiris, the god of the underworld, Isis, and Horus. In short, the song "We Run This Town" is an encrypted message being spoken by Jay-Z, Rihanna, and Kanye West, proclaiming that Osiris, the god of the underworld, or rather Lucifer, is going to run the cities of the earth for eternity.